Hi, everybody, and welcome to Evolve Love. I am your host, Amanda, and I am so happy that you have found this podcast. Are you looking for daily inspiration, motivation, and wisdom to help you begin your day feeling supported and uplifted with love? Well, you have come to the right place. This podcast is a space of encouragement where you can be held in your self-development because in order to evolve, you need love, and it begins here with you. Now, let's get into today's episode. Hi, everybody. I am so excited for a brand new week here with Evolve Love. I hope you had a beautiful weekend. I hope you had a beautiful Lionsgate on Saturday, and this is such a big week. We are still in big energy, but what I am really looking forward to in this week is diving deeper into some of the notices that I had on my retreat week. So if you were here last week, I started to detail daily the different things that came up for me and the different practices that I took part in during my at-home retreat. And what I noticed as the week was going on is that there was so much content, and I thought some of this really deserves its own week, and that is going to be something that we do this week. So this week I am taking something that I learned and something that really touched me or opened my eyes in my at-home retreat week and just doing a whole week-long deep dive into it. And what's so interesting, so I do record, as you guys know, I record a week ahead, and today, this weekend, I should say, I turned my calendar to August. So we are now in the month of August, but what was so beautiful is what I had planned for this week really went along with this little paragraph that was on my calendar. So I have a Louise Hay affirmation calendar, like a daily calendar where like you pull off each little paper and it's like a new day, a new mantra, a new affirmation type of thing. And it's so funny because I got it for free with a Hay House type of like sale they were running. If you don't check out Hay House, I definitely recommend it. I know they only ship, I think, in the States and Canada, I think. I'm not 100% sure on that, but they are limited in where they ship to. But I've gotten so many incredible deals with Hay House, from oracle card decks to spiritual books to this freebie calendar that I got. But anyways, before we get into the topic, I wanted to read this because I think it is such an important reminder, and it goes along so beautifully with this week that we have ahead based on my learnings that I had with my retreat. So this is from the Louise Hay calendar. Here we go. This is August. Although I have numerous responsibilities vying for my time, I am the most important person in my life. Therefore, this month, I take some time just for me. It is a gift that I cherish, and I do not allow anyone to take it from me. I love myself enough to take excellent care of myself and put myself first, remembering that I am a human being, not a human doing. I am amazed by what I discover in moments of quiet solitude. Life is just waiting to share its secrets with me, and I allow myself plenty of opportunities to listen. What a beautiful thought. Like, truly, oh my gosh, I loved this so much. And, I've flipped through this calendar now all year long, right? And August just really spoke to me. I don't know if it's like the time that I'm in or something, but it just felt so exactly what I needed to hear. And I thought maybe you too need to hear that. So this week, what are we going to be talking about? What was the retreat learning that I wanted to dive deep into? And the topic is going to be about daydreaming and mindfulness. And the reason that I wanted to bring this up is because I've mentioned before on the podcast that I am in a mindfulness teacher certification program. And this was a training that I had, and it was a training that I did during the retreat. And it really opened my eyes because I a lot of the time think about daydreaming as a positive tool for manifestation. I think about dream day energy. I think about highest self energy. I think about visualizing all that it is that I am wanting and seeing and thinking for myself about. But this mindfulness training helped me to see a different side of that daydreaming can sometimes have sort of, I don't want to say a negative connotation, but it can pull us from the present, which can have a negative effect on our energy. And so that is what we're going to be talking about this week. This week, we're going to talk about being where and with who and with what that you are. Because the notion that came up in this training is that daydreaming, okay, so just like the topic of daydreaming, mind wandering, wishing, all of these types of actions, and a lot of the time, they're connected to manifestation tactics, but some of these ideas can be a cause of unhappiness. The reason being that when we are wanting to be in a state other than the one we are in, we can create at times an energy of lack or an energy of less than, because we are thinking about wanting more, being more, or changing and shifting the person that we are in a given moment. And I think this is really important to talk about right now because we are still in the Lionsgate portal. So even though it peaked on Saturday, this Lionsgate is continuing on at least through the 12th. I've even heard other people say that this particular season, the Lionsgate portal, could be open even for longer. But with this, when we keep thinking about this future self energy, are we also reminding ourselves of the gratitude and the joy of the being that we are now? So this is where we have to be really cautious or aware, because when we're talking about, daydreaming, mind wandering, all these things causing a state of unhappiness, a lot of it is because we are wishing for something other than where we are. So I think it's important to sort of reframe this thought and to kind of connect it to this idea of, even though we are wanting to grow into this highest self energy, that we are still proud of where we are, that we are still grateful for where we are. So it's about finding the gratitude in the present moment. It's about seeing the blessings that are already in front of you, that are already a part of your life. And being in that energy is a much more supportive energy than looking around you and feeling like, this isn't good enough. This isn't what I want. I want more. I want to be, in this other place. I want to make this amount of money. I want to be with these certain people. Sure. Like, you can think about those things, but can you see how that's creating an energy of lack? And sometimes we're in such a state where it's hard to see that there is good around us. But even in like the Lionsgate, and I shared this on my Instagram, is that when things aren't going the way that I hope that they, should be going, for me, an important tool is to look at the things that are going right, the things that are, supporting me and holding me and keeping me safe. Like, it just even comes down to like, in this moment, my heart is beating. In this moment, I have warm clothes on my back. In this moment, I have people in my life who love me. Like, just finding those things, because I know at times, especially in a, darker or like, more of like a despairing time, it's hard to see the good in front of us, but there is so much good in front of us. And that's where, like, with this particular energy, I think it's important to make sure that when we are doing these manifestation practices as like our highest self, that we do remember the good that is around us now. And even still, like, the mindfulness teaching practice that I'm doing, the course that I'm in, the biggest part of it too is without judgment, being in the present moment without judgment. So this is even another way to look at this too, because if you are thinking these thoughts, can you think these thoughts without judgment, without opinion, without, additional ways of feeling around it? Can you see the present moment for exactly what it is? I am sitting in this chair. I am recording this podcast episode. It is nighttime. Like looking at the present moment and noticing in those moments, like when I speak that, I am in a moment of ease because I'm here. I realize nothing is harming me in this moment. I am here. I am recording a podcast episode. And a way that this has really helped me too is, I don't always like to fly, for travel. I don't love taking flights or whatever, but in the plane, if we hit like pockets of turbulence, I immediately start to get nervous, and I have to remind myself, I am sitting in a chair. I am safe. I am well. We are going to, we are making our way out of this turbulence right now, and all is well in this moment. And to remind myself of that, to put myself back into that easeful state. And I think too, is that when you do find yourself mind wandering, or you're thinking about how could this moment be better than it is, it's just helpful to realize it's not like, shame, we're daydreaming right now. No, because daydreaming can be extremely positive. It's just about bringing the awareness to it, that these tools, these tactics, they are supposed to help us to up level, but not at the expense of us starting to feel bad about the way that we are in a given moment. So how can we, up level, but still find the ways in which we are proud of ourselves for the moment that has brought us to this point? So bringing ourselves back to the present is so, so helpful. And part of why I wanted to do this, I should have said this in the beginning, but part of why I wanted to do this is that the moon today is in Cancer. And Cancer, we have talked about here on the podcast before as being the sign of the home, and also to that internal emotional world for the water sign. And why I feel this is such a good connection to the moon being in Cancer is that it's not necessarily talking about the house, but it is our emotional world. It's our inner world. It's the awareness of where you are now in this moment. So your body, your vessel is carrying you through this day. That is your home. That is your main center. That is where you reside. So to be in it and to be in the present. And sometimes, like I said, that means without judgment. And sometimes it means just being aware of what is in front of you now, not what it is you are wanting ahead of you. Some of my favorite quotes around mindfulness I want to share right now because I think they're great reminders for us to connect into the present moment. So one of my favorites is by Jon Kabat-Zinn. Wherever you go, there you are. Because isn't that the truth? Wherever you go, there you are. All right. And then the other one is be where your feet are, by Scott O'Neill. And what I love about these is it's just a beautiful and very simple reminder that when we start to future project, if it causes a shift or change in our emotional status, that we can bring ourselves back to where we are in the present moment and to reconnect with ourselves and to find more ease for our day. So this is something that we are going to be working through this week here on Evolve Love. I'm so looking forward to diving into the practices with you this week on Tuesday and Thursday. Wednesday, we have a beautiful card pull prepared. And of course, on Friday, we're diving into the beauty of Venus Day. So I'm so looking forward to checking back with you tomorrow. I hope you have a beautiful week, and make sure you're following me over on my Instagram at _Evolve Love. There is so much going on there, from a free self-curriculum guide that you can download in the link in my bio to help hold you and support you in whatever learning and, soul searching that you may have. And then, of course, my newsletter. You definitely want to sign up for that because it's free and jam-packed of resources to guide you through each zodiac season. And there's even more coming. So you want to make sure you're following there so you don't miss out. All right, everybody, I hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll talk with you tomorrow.